Yes, the victory horns are live. Relax, Kermit the Frog. We are live. We are here. And the victory horns, they sound for, every victory horn should sound for Eddie Hall, but this particular victory horn sounds for Ian Machado Garry. Survives a late scare from Carlos Prates and gets the unanimous decision victory, 2 48-47s and a 49-46. Takes the fight on short notice and gets another big win. And now he says he's going to stamp the passport again. He's going to book a flight to Montreal and declared himself the backup fighter for the welterweight title fight between Bilal Muhammad and Jack Della Maddalena at UFC 315. Although he took some damage in that fight. Highly doubt that's going to happen, but hey, you got to shoot for the stars and hope you land there. But thank you for joining us for the UFC Kansas City post-fight show. I am Mike Heck, and joining me to offer his incredible takes, Mr. Jed Meshew, Mr. No Gray Area himself. How are we doing, Jed?
I'm doing great, Mike. The climb is back. 16 up, baby. Woo! Terrific week. Great weekend. Eddie Hall fought Mariusz Pudzianowski. Wonderful things occurred. That main event was really fun. Not like a barn burner, but really fun. The co-main event was a little bit sad. The rest of the card was mostly good, though there were certainly some low spots. Little late, frankly, but still good, solid event in Kansas City this week. So pretty pumped to be here.
Is this like a B kind of event? Yeah. Overall grade? Yeah, it's solid.
I think, honestly, and this is an old man take, so I understand that. And if you're not an old man, you're watching along with us, congratulations. One day you will be right where I am. I would think more fondly on this if it wasn't 1 a.m. Like if this just got over at a reasonable hour or whatever, but like the main card being late made like the down moments, which were few. The prelims were certainly great. The main event was good. A lot of finishes. Like the Michelle Pajeda fight was awful to watch, in part because it's just like, man, it's getting pretty late out there. So this would probably get like a little extra juice if this was an earlier card, but still a rock solid B. We built to good things. The early prelims, a lot of finishes, even if they're not names, and then good fights most of the way around. Good event, man. I was happy to have been a part of this.
Yeah, it was very solid. Let's go right to the main event. Let's talk about what transpired. The first 15 or so minutes of this fight, it was the Ian Machado Garry show. Actually, you could probably extend that to like the first 18 minutes of this fight. Garry was fighting very intelligently. He was moving around a lot. Prates really couldn't get him. You could see he was a little bit frustrated, just couldn't get close. And Ian was just kind of picking him apart and taking him down a couple of times, mixing things up. Anytime Carlos got anything going, Ian would shoot. Sometimes he would land it, sometimes he wouldn't. And then back half of round 4, Prates starts to get comfortable, starts busting up Ian Garry, starts landing big shots, hurt Ian Garry in the 4th round. And I'm sure I'll leave what happened in the 4th round to you to talk about, since nobody else apparently talked about it as it went down. And then round 5, Carlos Prates nearly gets the finish and Ian Machado Garry survives. So firstly, talk about just the overall view of what you learned in the fight. Secondly, how did you score it? And third, talk about that 4th round. I'll leave that one to you.
Okay, so let's start with the overall view of the fight. The overall view is that fight was largely a reinforcement of stuff that I thought. For a while, it looked like it was actually going to be pretty negative for Carlos Prates. He sort of turned it on down the stretch and redeemed himself to some extent. And so credit to him for that. A little too little too late as far as the judges went. But he was heading towards blank city and then pulled it out there. So good for him in that regard. I still, we talked about it a lot this week on various shows. He's the guy I was the least high on of the fighting nerds to win a title because I have general concerns about his game. He's a little older and a lot of that manifested. Like, he is a great hammer. he's not a bad nail, but if you are not going to be a nail, he is going to struggle a lot more. Ian Garry really frustrated him early by giving him a lot of looks, fighting really smart, a lot of movement, and Prates has looked like a killer in part because he is, but also in part because like he just gets dudes against the fence and can bomb on them. And Ian Garry's like, well, I'm not going to do that. And the end result was Carlos Prates threw like 6 punches through the first 12 minutes of this fight. Like he just didn't do almost anything early on. Good defense in his own right, didn't get tagged too much, but like you can't win a fight by waiting for the perfect opportunity unless you can finish it. And Garry was not allowing that to happen. I also have been very high on Ian Machado Garry for his entire career. I know people don't like him for many reasons. I have said consistently that I believe he will compete for the belt one day, if not outright win the damn thing. And this was a little bit of a victory lap for that stance of like, yeah, look, he is not the most impressive fighter, right? Like he is not a guy who is going to blow you away with his athleticism or predatory offense, but he's super well-rounded, very smart, has a good approach to almost every fight, and can come in and make you work for it in that sort of traditional great fighter sense. I think he is a great fighter, and I left this fight being like, yep, that's what I expected of him. Did great, good for him. So a confirmation of sorts as far as my broad picture. I'll go to the last part. Here's the thing about round 4 that the commentary team just seemed to miss entirely. And I want to go back and watch it and make sure I didn't hallucinate this. I'm like really certain that the reason things changed in the last 90 seconds is Prates tagged him. Like in an exchange, a left hand like actually buckled Ian Machado Garry's knees. And that's why the rest of that round he didn't throw any offense and ran away because he was hurt and trying to recover. And I don't think the commentary team saw it. And then they're like, well, Prates is having some success. Gary's running away. It's like, yeah, he's running away because the cobwebs are there. So I want to go back and make sure I'm not crazy, but I'm pretty sure that happened. That's certainly what I saw happen in real time. As a result, I awarded him that round. I thought that round was scored for Prates. And here's where the chat can get mad. Hey, chat, go do whatever you're going to do about it. I scored that fight a draw. The official MMA fighting scorecard is 47-47 because I gave Prates round 4 and I gave Prates a 10-8 in round 5 because one, I'll die on the hill that I am justified per the scoring to give that. And so I'm not, by no means am I saying you need to score round 5 at 10-8. I want to be really clear on that. That is one where I think it is justified and I am allowed to do so per the scoring criteria. And so were I a judge, I would score that at 10-8. And just like from two standpoints here. One, I have long maintained, though this is not like how the scoring criteria works, but I do think it makes logical sense. It's pretty stupid to score rounds 5 and rounds 1 the same. Those are very obviously not the same sort of things, the same amount of damage that was conferred upon opponents. And so I can, there's that. And 2, and this is certainly a little more tongue in cheek, if at any point in time during a fist fight you are physically crawling away from the guy beating your ass, I think he gets an extra point. And so I feel really comfortable with the 47-47 scorecard. No one will like it. I did not expect the judges to render that. I think 49-46 is not great, but it is what it is. And yeah, that's where I'm at, Mike.
Fair enough. Dana White is in Kansas City. He is speaking to the media right now. A couple notable things that we'll talk about right off the bat. One relates to this fight. Dana White said Ian Machado Garry is the backup for the title fight. Now,
can he make weight?
I think he can make weight. He just looked like he had a broken nose, and Brendan Fitzgerald mentioned some swelling in his forearm. So it's a quick turnaround, man. That card's 3 weeks away, and I mean, yeah, go in there, make weight, just continue
that's not
where
even,
you're at.
It's not even 3 weeks away, buddy.
2 weeks away. 2 weeks
that's
away.
2 weeks. That's 2 Saturdays from now.
Go vegan, baby. Just keep that weight down.
That's a quick turnaround, particularly, again, hard fight. Like, he cruised early, but wore it a little down the stretch. If he can do it, good for him, man. Take your opportunities as they come.
Yeah. He also mentioned that just kind of confirmed all the rumor and innuendo about TDP Hamzat, saying that the injury thing was bullcrap. That fight is done essentially. Didn't announce a date, but he said it's done. It's just not having International Fight Week. No updates on Islam Ilya. No updates on John and Tom. Just kind of the same old stuff. We'll see. I'm confident. I've been telling you a million times we're going to make that fight. All that. So that's something to keep in mind. We do have bonuses. We'll get to that in a moment, but Ian gets the backup, and that's great. Steps in, saves the day, took this fight on short notice. Was this the right call, making him the backup fighter?
I think it's fine, right? Like in general, so like there's the theory that the backup fighter conveys some special meaning. Tell Matush Gamrot that he's still waiting for that title shot, buddy. Like this is not one of
He's
those
fighting Ludwig
Colby
Klein now. That's where he's
correct.
at.
Correct. This is not a Colby Covington backup position of, well, you're next in line. Pretty clearly, Shavkat's next in line, unless, of course, Jack Della wins, Islam moves up, et cetera, et cetera. But we talked about, in the previous show, I think this fight does set Ian Garry up with a win. Probably not to fight for the belt next unless a lot of chips fall in his favor, but it puts him right there if things like this do shake out. And given that Joaquin Buckley, who I would sort of be the other person who makes the most sense as a backup fighter, just had a fight announced against Kamaru Usman for coming up later this year. Also, unless they had already pre-planned that, I doubt Buckley. I honestly just don't think Buckley could make 170 in 2 weeks, like unless he had been clued into this well beforehand. So it's perfectly fine. You just hope not to use him if you have to, and Garry makes weight. Good on him. That would be a hell of a story, but I think it's fine given the circumstances, just so long as this is not, well, he weighed in, so he gets the next one, because that would be obviously insane.
He's gonna have to fight again. He'll just do him and Sean Brady. It's fine. Welterweight's getting interesting. It really is. Buckley puts himself in a good spot if he beats Kamaru Usman. I think you do Garry versus Brady. I think that fight makes a ton of sense, and we'll see how everything falls at UFC 315. Shavkat's still there, so I mean things could really change. The longer Shavkat sits out, the worse this could get for him. So we've seen it many times. You sit back, you let things happen, you let guys pick up big wins, can hurt you in the long run. So availability is your best friend, and if Shavkat's unavailable, he could be passed over a couple of times here. So good win for Ian Garry. Carlos Prates in the end, his stock doesn't drop at all, probably goes up a little bit the way he finished off that fight. So good on him. Any
It was a great recovery
because
his stock was dropping precipitously
yes,
until the last 7 minutes of the fight. And then it was like, oh, okay, all right, you're back. Should have done that way earlier, but you're back.
He got the pride rules win in a lot of people's eyes, and that sometimes will raise your stock in a big way. Any guesses on bonuses? Have you gotten to see them yet?
I haven't seen the bonuses. I am going to go ahead and absolutely stone guarantee that Randy Brown got a bonus. If Randy Brown didn't get a bonus, I would be stunned. So let's go Randy Brown for a knockout or performance bonus. Let's double dip. Let's say Randy Brown and Nicholas Dalby got a fight of the night bonus, because that was really fun, and Nicholas Dalby deserves $50K for going out on a shield like that. And they won't give Zhang a bonus for killing the old man. Malcolm Wellmaker is obviously also getting a bonus. Of course he is. Those are my bonuses.
Pretty damn close. Randy Brown did get a bonus fight of the night with Nicholas Dalby. Did not get a performance bonus.
Wait, I'm sorry. They didn't give Randy Brown a performance bonus?
Nope. Fight of the night.
Okay.
He's got the knockout like one of the
best knockouts of the year.
But he got fight of the night.
This is that dumb shit they did the other week where they gave it to the worst fucking fight on the card. What are we doing?
Yep. Malcolm Wellmaker gets a bonus, and yes, to your dismay, Zhang Minyang gets the other bonus for retiring Anthony Smith.
Insane! That is insane!
which is good for Casey and his fantasy team. Holy cow,
Woof.
man.
Nuts. Look, he was a massive, massive betting favorite. I'm not taking away the performance. Like, good on him. He did the thing. Those elbows were like real borderline to being illegal. Not that that should be like a huge factor, but like at least Kawamba finished a dude with a flying knee. He killed an old man he was a minus 500 favorite against. What the hell is going on?
Wow, I forgot about the Kwamba knee knockout.
Dude, it like Randy Brown and Malcolm Wellmaker are the most obvious performance bonus winners of all time. And then it's like also you can give one to Kwamba because he flying kneed a dude, and that's pretty cool. What in the name of God? I mean, good on them to do fight of the night so Nicholas Dalby can get 50K because he deserved it going on a shield like that. This is the first time Nicholas Dalby has ever been stopped, and it is quite possibly the front runner for knockout of the year right now. And that is so insane.
Yep, pretty wild. Speaking of Min Yang Zhang, let's talk about him. More specifically, let's talk about Anthony Smith, who the whole build, the second this fight was announced, this was Anthony Smith's last dance. This is the last ride. He was going to do it in Kansas City, makes the walk. We heard Return of the Mac, all the hits, comes out, big smile on his face, some cool moments in the back with his family. And the worst case scenario happened. He got cut open real quick, bleeding everywhere. Zhang got him to the ground, just started annihilating him with punches and elbows. And then you mentioned the finish. There were some shots that were close to the back of the head. Laura Sanko and Paul Felder are both screaming, "Oh, it's in the back of the head, back of the head." Jason Herzog stops the fight. Anthony Smith is in a puddle of his own blood, flips the middle finger up to a guy in a Nebraska shirt in the crowd, walks towards the fence, starts talking to the person. There's this great shot of a guy saying, like, "I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I don't know if that was the guy or not." But Min Yang Zhang gets in there, gets booed out of the building, cuts a very fun promo, and Zhang gets it done. But the story is about Anthony Smith calling it a career. He gets the video package, the whole nine. Thoughts, man. It's the MMA gods rarely smile upon us. We don't get Robbie Lawler moments that often. We certainly did not get one here. Your reaction to what you saw in the final fight of Anthony Smith's career?
Sorry, I touched a button on my stuff that I wasn't supposed to. I was making sure I didn't screw up my audio. I really enjoyed it from a very specific perspective, right? Because I've made no bones. Like Anthony Smith means very little to me. I respect his career, great effort, been in the league for a long time. Good on him. What I think we all thought this was the most likely outcome. And it's definitely like a little weird how big of a deal they were making it. Not that it's bad, but just like other more accomplished fighters have gotten less fanfare than Anthony Smith. They're out here calling him like that he has a legendary career and the legend Anthony Smith. This is like by almost no definition is that a true statement. And you could just say that it's because he works with them and they're giving him a little extra. It was a little over the top for anybody who's just like, yeah, I don't know. You guys didn't do this much for Carlos Esparza, who's going in the Hall of Fame as a two-time champion or whatever. So like there's a little piece of that, but mostly the thing that I liked and the thing that I was happy about is Anthony Smith himself. Because one, I do think this is going to be a real retirement. He seems at peace with the decision that this was not a decision made because he is losing so much or anything like that, but a decision made of wisdom. Like, yeah, I'm old, can't do this anymore. Body's taken enough. I got a family I love, can do other things. And two, I really just enjoyed the way he approached it. All fight week, he's making sure that this is not about going out on a win. This is about the journey, not the destination. I want to soak this all up. I want to enjoy my last ride here. And he looked elated during his walkout, super happy. Obviously, the fan thing at the end was weird, but I mostly think that you just put that off to, all right, his career came to an end. He's got the adrenaline from being in a fist fight, and he looks up and some dude may or may not be shooting him the bird. And so, like, yeah, reacts a little poorly or whatever in that time, but settles down, cooler heads prevail, has a nice speech at the end. Thanks everybody. I watched a little of his appearance on the post show for the UFC on ESPN or whatever. And again, just super grateful, super happy. Not going to quote him directly because I wasn't paying that close of attention, but paraphrasing, saying, I made the decision. I'm just not going to be sad about this. I'm just going to be happy about what's happening, about how great this experience has been. Just like a really, really mature approach to this. And great because we know the game, man. Most fighters don't get to be Robbie Lawler. And we didn't even know if Robbie Lawler would get to be Robbie Lawler. It was terrific that he got that, but most fighters aren't going to get that when they go out. And so this is a good way to do it. Let Anthony Smith's retirement be a roadmap for future fighters. Hey, you're going out because Father Time has dictated it's probably time to go. But even if you go out on a loss, it does not have to be a great sadness. You can find the value in the silver linings here. And so I have a lot of respect for what Anthony Smith, how he handled his career in general, and certainly how he handled his retirement tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. I've said it on multiple shows. One of the great overachievers. He's a Mount Rushmore overachiever in the sport, and dude could have been the light heavyweight champion if he was a man that lacked integrity and would have made a whole lot more money. But at the end of the day, looking himself in the mirror was more important than the millions of dollars that would have been in his bank account had he taken that DQ loss and gotten the rematch with DQ win and then gotten the rematch with John. And
More importantly,
pretty,
Mike, he took something from us because can you imagine the memes of Lionheart, Lyin Heart? Oh my God, we would have had so much fun with Anthony Smith as a champion. It would have been incredible.
yeah. But congratulations to Anthony Smith on a great career. Although his appearance in MMA will continue on. He's obviously a great analyst. I think he's going to get a shot to call some fights for the UFC or maybe Contender Series or something. And I'm going to make a bold prediction, Jed. 5 years from right now, we're going to look at Anthony Smith like we look at Glover Teixeira as a coach. I think he's going to coach a bunch of
Oh,
fighters.
I was about to say,
Yeah,
no, we're not. Glover Teixeira is a champion, but okay,
right.
as a
But
coach, sure,
yeah,
sure.
yeah, as a
Okay.
coach, as a guy who's going to corner, he'll be a head corner, be the guy that we listen to. Hey, don't go to break. We want to hear Anthony Smith yell at this dude in the corner between rounds. I want to hear what he has to say. Like he's going to be, I have a feeling he's going to be one of those guys moving forward because now he could focus on that. And I think with his sharp fight IQ and his analytic mind, I think he's got a lot to offer to that team out in Colorado and other teams and other fighters he could be associated with as well. So I think he's going to pull a lot of different duties in the MMA space. And happy trails to Anthony Lionheart Smith. David Onama gets a win over Giga Chikadze. Giga was ranked 12 heading into that. I've said it a lot. I don't think Giga Chikadze was a top 15 featherweight. I think that was proven when Calvin Kattar beat the hell out of him. And it was just one of those things where it's just like the guys can be a fun fighter. If you give him space, he will kick your legs off and just beat you up. But if you get in his face, he's going to lose fights. And David Onama went in there and won. It's not a fight we're going to go back and rewatch. And now David Onama is going to be a top 15 featherweight. And I'll be honest, I don't think he's top 15 featherweight either. So it's no disrespect to Giga. It's
Probably
just
not ranking
there
him.
are better guys in this division right now. I had David Onama ranked 36th heading into this fight. And I don't think he's going to get a big, huge name next anyways. But hey, you went in there, did in KC, gets the win. Good on him. Boost made up Michelle Pereira. That's all we're going to say. There's not much more
No,
to
no,
say.
no. He's no. I've abandoned my child. I've abandoned my boy. Michelle Pajeda is no longer one of my boys. He has been excommunicated. Like in John Wick, I made the phone call. He is excommunicado. Uh, I don't know what the hell that was, but can't do it. Can't been hurt too much. We're out. We've got to make room for Eddie Hall, who's now certainly one of my boys. I mean, he was probably my boy after the power bomb last year in general, but Eddie Hall takes up a lot of space. Big guy. We need as much room on Jed's Island as possible. And Michelle Pajeda, you're gone. We had fun to Molador, but you didn't do one backflip and you were boring as shit. We're out of here, man.
Maybe Randy Brown can get there with more performances like that. What a knockout! That was
With
incredible.
more performances like that, sure, but like, I mean, he
You
went
know,
to a splitty with Brian Battle like 4 months ago, so he's going to
yeah.
need to keeps this energy, not that energy.
So good win for Randy. We'll see what's next. A lot of people are saying like, "Oh, he should fight MVP." They're throwing big ass names his way, and so we'll be curious to see. He's got a lot of buzz right now. Ikram Aliskerov just dummies Andre Muniz, gets him out of there in the first round. Matt Schnell gets a win in his comeback fight. Evan Elder beats the newcomer Gage Young. Chris Gutierrez gets a splitty over John Castaneda. Damon Blackshear beats Alatang A. Lee. Malcolm Wellmaker, what a performance from him. Dude just does not get paid by the hour, barely gets paid by the minute, just goes in there and lands a shot and wins. He fights quick and explosive, and his fights never last long. Malcolm Wellmaker now 9-0, 30 years old.
I
Kind of
wish
the
he wasn't
times now to
30,
make a
man.
move. I know.
I
He's
wish
so
that's
fun.
the issue. Like coming off Contender Series was like I loved that kid, and it's just like doesn't matter. You can't have a real career. You're 30 at bantamweight. Like that was one of the big knocks out on Carlos Prates coming off Contender Series. He was like 29 or 30 or whatever at the time. Just like okay, at welterweight you can have a little more success with that, but this is not light heavyweight, right? This is not heavyweight. You can't be an old person, and at like bantamweight, just there's no shot. Like it, you for him to even have a good career, everything has to roll high. Because like if he just gets one injury and knock on wood, I don't wish it on him, but if he tears an ACL, okay, he's out for a year and suddenly he's 31. Like there's just no room for error. And he's still green in general. I like him a lot. He'll be fun for as long as he's here, but he's too old to be like a prospect. And that sucks because he would be a great one if he was 5 years younger.
Second round finish, first round finish, first round finish, split decision win, first round finish, decision win, second round finish, first round finish, first round finish. Dude just his fights are mostly very, very fast. Jacqueline Amarim gets a submission win. Timmy Kwamba, flying knee, TKO, gets the win there. And Jocelyn Edwards kicking off the festivities.
Great
Women's
performance.
bantamweight is so back, Jed. Jocelyn Edwards setting the tone with a first round knockout. We don't get to say that very often with the women's bantamweight fights, but that is what we got here. So that is UFC Kansas City. The first four fights ended in finishes. We didn't get another one until Ikram Aliskerov stepped in on the main card. But all in all, pretty fun night of fights. It's been a fun day of fights. The Eubank Ben fight was a classic. Eddie Hall just stole the show
It was
and
so
maybe my
silly.
heart. It
It was
was
so
so.
silly.
I did like a little watch along on my Instagram. I was like, let's just watch it. Maybe we'll have some fun here. And they just went right into it. They were like, this is not the co-main event. Surprise, here comes Eddie Hall to the cage, just out of nowhere, and then 30 seconds later, it's over.
That part was weird because like Tapology had it as in that like correct order. And it was just like, but all week long, everybody had it as the co-main. And so they didn't really communicate that well. But I want to say two important things about the Eddie Hall Pujanowski fight. And I recognize the UFC post show. Don't care. It was the most fun I've had all year. For all 30 seconds of it, it was elation. The two things I want to say are one, the number of people who reached out to me and were like, how do I watch KSW? I'm having issues because I had some issues loading my KSW. I eventually got it to work. It was a big whole ordeal. Number of people being like, hey, how do you watch this? Blah, blah, blah. And then afterwards being like, that was so dumb. I'm so glad I watched. Thanks for telling us about it. Like numerous people. That was the core of the message was like, that was so stupid. I'm so happy I paid $20 to watch that. Thank you for letting us know this was happening. One, you're welcome, KSW. Two, testament to like how you can just entertain people with very, very silly nonsense. And three, and most importantly, and I want to do this here so we have video and we can clip it if necessary. Looking right at you, Don Davis. I swear to God, if you don't give us Francis Ngannou versus Eddie Hall, I will take this PFL shirt and burn it. There is no clearer thing in the world to do. Like who? Nobody gives a shit about Francis fighting Vadim Nemkov. I don't care what Fight Matrix has Nemkov ranked. I like Denis Goltsov. I guarantee you I like him more than literally everyone who watches your product. And I don't need to see Francis fight Denis Goltsov. What I need is to see Francis fight Eddie Hall. And I promise you the world does too. You basically did this last time. Look, he's fighting a big man, except for no one knows who Renan Ferreira is. So it's a big guy. Instead, it's heavyweight champion of the world versus the world's strongest man. That is like the most layup fight poster promotion that can be done. It is so easy to do this. You must. If you do not, I will be calling for your head forever. Do it. Do it, Don. Do it.
You have to. I already set it up. We have the clip and everything. I asked Martin Lewandowski about it. He said, absolutely, definitely interested in this. I'm in touch with them all the time. It is right there. And to add to your point, this will be by far, this would be the biggest fight in PFL history. It would be the biggest pay-per-view they've ever done and ever will do. They will never do another bit. They will never pop a number on pay-per-view like they would with this fight. And it doesn't even have to be like a real thing. Just do what they did. It doesn't even, just do 2-minute rounds. You think Francis is going to be like, nah, I'm not fighting him in 2-minute rounds? Of course he will. He's going to make millions and millions of dollars. And he's going to get a cut of the biggest pay-per-view they will ever do. That is the biggest fight that man can have in mixed martial arts right now, without question. And Francis is going to fight like one more time. He's going to fulfill whatever contractual obligation he has to do. He'll sit on the board of PFL Africa, and then he'll go box a bunch of dudes and make a bunch of money. And guess what? He can box Eddie Hall too. And you can cross promote that. We could have a run of Francis Eddie Hall fights. Just do it. Who cares? No, it doesn't matter. Francis is in the end of the MMA line. Let's just do fun, weird shit with him. And you could sell 100,000 pay-per-views because that will. As good as UFC was and as great as Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn was today, KSW slaughtered everybody today.
Oh, dude,
in
it
numbers.
Is not close in
it's
what people
close.
cared about today, man.
It's not close. It's like 5 times more. We got a clip from KSW and put it on our YouTube shorts of Eddie Hall celebrating the win. Not even the finish, just him celebrating it and hearing the crowd stunned. It's got like 250,000 views. 17 seconds of Eddie Hall just be like, yeah, I beat this dude's ass. That's how much people cared about this.
30 seconds.
Do the thing. ESPN, MMA, do it. ESPN, reach out to Don Davis. Reach out to Martin Lewandowski. Reach out to the people at KSW. Make this fight happen. You will sell 100,000 pay-per-views. 100,000. You will sell it.
And people will simply care. They will care about your product in a way that they do not. Again, I want to be super clear. You don't build the plane out of the black box, right? You can't only eat candy for dinner. I'm not saying only do these. You gotta do them sometimes because they're fun. Your promotion desperately needs fun. This feels really achievable. Like Eddie Hall afterwards, after he fought Pudzianowski, called for a rematch, which is very, very silly, but credit to him.
That was silly too.
It was very silly, but funny. But then they asked him, like, so Eddie, do you want to stick around KSW? And he was like, no, I don't have any interest in just like being a fighter, right? Like I'm not trying to climb the ranks of KSW. I'm interested in fighting, my heroes, or maybe this is misquote, but I think I'm right here. Other freaks of nature. That's pretty much just blatantly saying Francis Ngannou. Like I would, yeah, that's a big spectacle of a fight. I'll probably lose, but that's almost certainly like he would lose, but that's fine. It would just be such a big cross-cultural event. Because that is the thing that would catch real heat with like idiots, like people who don't know anything, but like, this is the world's strongest man. He's like, he's the world's strongest man. Yeah. Tune in. Let's see. He's going to lose, but it'll be cool.
Yeah. Just like you said, I had more people reach out to me about this fight than any other fight this year. on any platform by far. It's not even close. So do the thing, and you get to, and look, stack up the card with good fighters. Put
Yeah.
Dakota Ditcheva on there. Put Paul Hughes and Usman Nurmagomedov and all your best fighters. Like, just stack this card. But the last thing we need to see, the poster, is those two guys. Because look what KSW did. Everyone tuned in for Eddie Hall and Marius Pudzianowski, but if you stuck around and watched the main event was
And
freaking
it was
awesome.
banger.
It was an incredible main
I
event.
knew it was gonna be anyway, but it was a banger. Like, it's KSW rocks, man. KSW
they're so
good at their
good.
jobs.
Speaking of so good,
Look,
the MMA
world's strongest
community,
man versus world heavyweight champion. It's the easiest promotion that can be made. That's
do
it.
it, Don.
That's
do
it. Do it,
the
man.
damn thing. Casey, get in here. We need our valuable producer to bring up questions from our valuable community.
No, I have a question for Casey.
Mm-hmm.
Casey, are you ready to give up on Chelsea Chandler the way I gave up on Demolador?
Oh, I wasn't like I didn't. I just like that meme of Chelsea Chandler running away. I just wanted more of that. That's all. She she does the little Diaz thing, I just like she had a little bit of personality. No, I haven't given up on her.
Well, good for you.
All right, what do we got here? Super chat. Oops.
Spencer, howdy, boys. Thought Garry looked masterful for 3.5 rounds until he didn't. This fight give you less or more confidence in him winning a title? And does he match up best against Shavkat, Brady, or Bilal? So, I mean, we saw the Shavkat fight, but
Oh, sorry, real quick before
I think
I did a poll while you guys were talking. How did these score the 5th round? And it was actually a 50-50 split between all our
Wow.
commenters, between a 10-9 and a 10-8. Just so
I
you
am
know.
surprised by that. So way to go, chat.
And
Yeah,
on MMA
on fire.
decisions, only 3 journalists gave the fight a draw. The great Jed Meshew, the wonderful Zane Simon,
Let's say I saw
And-
Zane did. Who else?
and this guy.
Way to go.
oh, you got an MMA decisions cred. You just wanted to
Yeah.
pad that number.
There you
You're
go.
just-
I saw Zane
Surprise,
did, and I
my
was like,
man.
oh shit, I'm not alone here.
What we just say? How do you have round 1 and round 5 the same freaking score? It boggles my mind. So yeah, sorry.
Scoring
back to the
is
super
dumb.
chat.
It just
Yeah.
the boxing scoring system in MMA just makes no sense. You can't score both the same. And in boxing, if you get a knockdown and you have a guy hurt, you lose a point. Like, that's just how it works. So it becomes a 10-8 round 99% of the time. So let's start with the first question, Jed. Does this fight, this performance from Ian Machado Garry, does this give you less or more confidence that he will at some point become a UFC champion?
The same. I still have some questions. My main concerns were not, manifested themselves because in this fight, because they do in every fight. He's not the most dynamic fighter, right? Like, he's very skilled, very well-rounded. He can be threatening everywhere, but he does not bring a superpower to the game, right? And certainly in the past few years, mostly champions have some exceptional weapon in their arsenal that their game is built around, right? Like, there aren't many George St. Pierres who are just really great at everything and their adaptability comes into play. Ian Garry is sort of that mold, but obviously not the athlete GSP was. And so that is my concern, is that when he goes up against a guy like Sean Brady, who is the strongest man alive and an elite grappler, that's probably tough. Like, that might be a tough matchup for him. We saw Shavkat. He was very, very competitive. I do put some stock in Shavkat having like one working knee going into that fight as being like probably part at play there. And he also lost. So, competitive defeat is still defeat. And against like a Bilal Bilal's super well-rounded, but I would say it's slightly edges in a couple of major spots here. And so he's still young. That's definitely the best thing he has going for him. But I would really like to see him develop something that is really, really dangerous. Because Prates was never in any danger in this fight, right? Like, he was losing cleanly, but he was never like, oh man, Prates is cooked in there. And it's a hard way to make a living in this sport, to be winning 25 minutes every time out. It can be done, but it's a lot damn easier if you can just be like, oh, I booped a guy and he died.
Can I ask a
Yeah.
question?
Yes, please.
Jed, where do you rank Prates now in welterweight? Since you called the fight a draw. Where right now
I
he
have
is
to I have
unranked.
to look at where my rankings are right now. Hold on.
I'll tell you right now. You don't need to look. I got it
Um,
for you. You have Machado Garry very high. You have number 4
I
in
do.
your top 15, and I think that's the highest of
Yeah.
everyone on the staff. And nobody had, of course, Prates in the top 15 yet.
Well, so my rankings will be slightly different because Leon is still high because we did not adjust this post the Brady fight. So obviously my rankings will be a little different next time we do them. Uh, Looking at it, Pratis will go behind. He'll go ahead of Gilbert Burns, and then I don't know how the rest of that will shake out. He'll probably be somewhere in the top. He'll be somewhere in the top 7.
Top 7, okay.
It
By
might
the
be
way,
higher. It might be a little lower. It'll depend on how,
Because
because the next time we do it, the Jack Della fight will have also played out. We'll
yeah,
see.
but you're gonna
so
Prates probably in the top 10 without a doubt. You think?
Protez will 100% be the top
Yeah.
10. It's whether he'll be like 6.
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Because I know we kind of. Oh, sorry.
I approached at 11
You
already.
did. Oh,
So
you're right. You're right. Correct.
yep.
No, we've had. Oh, sorry. We had a couple. Couple. Sorry, Damon had him at
Damon
14
had
also.
him at 14. Yeah,
Is
he
that-
will rise. Gilbert Burns and Michael Morales are about to fight, so if Michael Morales wins, that'll change things. So there's a he'll probably be like 7 or 8. Yeah, I think that's probably where he ends up. Probably around 8.
Yeah, I think I had Gary the lowest ranked at 9, and I'll probably put Prates actually right behind him.
Yeah, if
Oh,
Gary
that's
at
fine.
5. If we're doing a ranking shakeup right now, it would be Bilal, Shafkat, Brady.
Yeah.
I'd probably put Gary at
That would
4.
be my 3. That's
I'd probably
exactly
put
how I'd
Gary
have
above
the
J.
line.
I put Gary above JDM right now, just for right
I
this
already,
second.
I already
Obviously,
have
that
Gary
could
above
change. Yeah,
JDM, so
Yeah.
yeah,
that's exactly what I have.
yeah. That's how I would do it.
Yeah. I'm always just interested how, because I know everyone's got a slightly different perspective on how to handle guys on how to rank them off a loss. So I'm just interested. I think everyone's kind of on the same page.
I mostly try to rank based on the performance. Like what is scored. So even if I thought it was a draw, I just credit it as a loss because it feels like a better way to do it to me. But Protez's big thing is he just hasn't beaten anybody like great, and he still hasn't. But fun enough performance. He's on a good run. A lot of old blood needs to move out of welterweight anyway. So
Yeah, yeah. And just to answer the other question, I think Gary needs to try to fight as often as possible and get some reps in. Kind of like Jed said, I think one thing I took away, especially from the last 10 minutes, and I know it was somewhat short notice heading into this fight. It was actually short notice. Bilal would have been a problem for him in that fight because Bilal ain't taking a
probably.
backward step. Bilal would have been in his face the entire time. Gary wouldn't be able to take him down. It would have been I think it would have been a really rough night. Brady is interesting because Gary moves around really well, but Brady is a friggin' tank, man. And I know Gary's got pretty solid takedown defense, but it don't matter, man. Sean Brady grabs a hold of you, you're going down. And if he gets on top of you, it is a rough time for you. So I would say he matches up better with Brady, but I think that's a tough one too. So that's why I think these two guys should fight. If he beats Sean Brady, give him a title shot. I'm fine with that. But yeah, Bilal I think would be tough for him right this moment.
All right. Thank you much. Terrence Leverett. Oh, kind of off topic here, but here we go.
Give me 3 futures for NFL if you had your pick.
I mean, if I had to pick, it's unlikely just because it never happens, or very rarely happens, obviously. The Eagles are still the best team in football by a pretty wide margin, top to bottom. Their weakest spot is their quarterback, who's still like a top 15 quarterback, and they have the best O-line, the best defense. arguably the best wide receiver core, the best running back. I would just pick them to win the Super Bowl. If you're going to ask for a future, I'll pick them to play the Chiefs in the Super Bowl because they're just in the Super Bowl every year. If you want something safer, pick the Chiefs to make the AFC Championship game because they're just in that actually every single year. I don't know. I'd have to think about a third. Both of those just seem really low hanging fruit to me, though.
I'll go with the New England Patriots at plus 6,500.
I'll future Cam Ward to win Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, because he's going to be the starting quarterback, and I don't know that any of the others will be, and that's a huge advantage. So, boom.
I love the Patriots draft. I thought they did a tremendous job.
Great draft.
It's one of their best drafts. I love the Travion Henderson pick. Travion Henderson,
really good pick.
Terrific pick. They shored up some things they needed. I'm very excited for the year. Much more confident than I was last year. They're not going to win it, but they will be more fun to watch, and that's all we're looking for.
I'm asking a silly question. What does futures mean?
You place a bet now for a major outcome. So who will win the Super Bowl?
Like months away from now. Okay, not like next.
So like who will win the Super Bowl, and all the teams are available, but at different odds. Because we don't even know who's in the Super Bowl.
Okay, that's what I thought. I assumed it meant that. All right. Yep. Thank you much, Terrence.
Yeah. So to give you kind of a betting guideline for this, Eagles are the favorite. They're plus 650 to get it, or you could pick
possibly low for a future bet because they have such a low chance of hitting.
And you could bet on the Cleveland Browns or the New York Jets at plus 20,000.
Don't make those bets. Those are bad bets.
So
you could just super chat us the $10 instead.
Yeah. I know Philadelphia won last year. Do you remember what their futures bet was at the beginning of the season, by chance, or round?
I don't remember what it was. They were not in the top 4 or 5. They would have been high, but they were not
4 figures.
Yeah, because they were still high, but they were coming off a bad year the year before, and there were some question marks around the team.
All right.
And then they are arguably the best football team of my lifetime. So there you go.
Thank you much. Super chat from RS40.
What do you think of Usman taking the Buckley fight? He hasn't won a fight in 4 years. What do you think, Chad? UFC Atlanta, backyard for you, my friend. You get the return of Kamaru Usman against the guy who went from the worst call out in UFC history to turning it all around and just doing the thing right.
I have to imagine this was not the first choice for Usman. But given the other choices, this is probably the best one, right? All right, Kamaru, you're not getting a title fight as much as you really tried to leverage for that. Do you really want to fight Sean Brady? That doesn't seem like a thing that anybody should want to do at this juncture. So you're not going to get that. You're not going to get Bilal. You got to fight somebody. Ian Gary's already kind of tied up. I guess you could try and wait and see the winner of Gary Prates and maybe do something. But Buckley is beatable. I don't think he's going to do it, mind you. But, Kamaru Usman is an all-time great fighter, so maybe he can do it. I think this fight makes a ton of sense. I think it's tough. And if I were Usman, in Usman's corner, I would have tried to be like, hey, man, I think instead of this, we should be trying to just do legacy fights, give up on the title hunt, because this fight only makes sense if you're Usman, if you are trying to get to the title again. And I think that you should just be a little more self-aware that that's not happening for your career. And you should be fighting Robert Whittaker, doing that sort of thing. But it's an interesting fight. So Godspeed to him, and credit to Joaquin Buckley, who is raiding the old folks' home on his way to a title fight. I mean, this is I don't mean this to mock Buckley at all. I have nothing but respect for this. This is the sort of path you would beg to carve out. I get to fight old washed Vicente Luque, Stephen Thompson. Who was the most recent one?
Colby.
Colby. That's right. Colby Covington. And now getting Usman. You're getting he is fighting all of the the previous generation of welterweights. And if he beats Usman, he's probably going to fight for the title next, which is kind of wild, but great career management. Credit to you, bud.
Isn't
Yes,
that how
very well
Anthony Smith
done.
got a title shot pretty much?
Basically.
Yeah. So
Yep.
that's the
And he became a UFC legend, an octagon legend per Bruce Buffer's announcement. I feel like I'm taking
And
crazy pills.
and everybody else. This
okay,
is
I don't want to get into it, but
yeah.
I feel like I am taking crazy pills with how they handled that. But
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna get some sort of comment or super chat about it. But this is Kamaru Usman. I'm with you, Jed. I think this is Usman saying, "Okay, I'm gonna give this title thing a go. This is about as good of a matchup as I'm going to get." And also, he is being so left behind right now. Like him even mentioning like I should be fighting for the belt. If he ever does that, it is laughable at this point
it's
with
very
how this
dumb.
division looks like right now. He's so far back in the pecking order with how this division has played out since he's been on the sidelines. It's not even close. I mean, I don't even know where I would rank him right now. Like if he was eligible to be ranked, I don't even know where I would put him. He'd be like,
I don't know. Do you still have Gilbert Burns ranked? Because you probably have to put him above Gilbert just because he did beat Gilbert. But
so I have Burns at 8, which is probably a little high.
yeah, I
But
have
we
Burns
haven't
too high
updated
too,
these in a
but
while.
yeah.
Yeah, he's probably 8,
yeah.
8 or 9. So yeah, he has to fight, man. Like he cannot wait any longer. He's got to get in there and do something because even if he beats Buckley, he's still not getting a title shot. He's still gonna have to win another one, probably. So,
I'm not certain about that.
I
I
don't.
think he should have to fight another one. He's a real big name. If he wins and we're not doing the Islam thing and Bilal's still champion or whatever, I think Bilal would try because Bilal already tried, kind of. I
of
think
course,
Bilal would be
Bilal's
like,
gonna
yeah,
try.
they might do it. I would. They shouldn't. Wouldn't be a great look. I wouldn't be stunned if it happened.
They tried to
Yeah,
do it before. They tried, and if I'm Bilal, that's the fight. I would have gone for that fight before the Shafkat one too, and then eventually you realize like, all right, it ain't happening. I'm just gonna turn my attention to Shafkat. So yeah, Usman has to fight, man. He has to fight, and a win is not enough here. Like he's got to go out there and just he's got to body Joaquin Buckley in that main event. He's got to do it. So we'll see.
If he
I'm
does,
very
that'd be
interested
great for
in that
him.
fight.
I think Usman's a little closer to the belt than I just believe he's closer to the belt because the UFC loves the idea of ex champs fighting for the title again because it's easy promotion, and I just like this fight a lot. I think it makes a lot of sense, but we will see. We will see. Good main
Yeah,
event.
it's just a totally different division than it was when he left.
I agree that
It's
this
totally
fight makes
different.
sense. I think
It's
Usman should
makes
not
perfect
be
sense.
doing this.
Yeah,
But maybe I'll be wrong. If he wins, then I'll look very foolish. If he loses, I'll be like, that was dumb. You should have been fighting other dudes.
if he loses, does he fight again?
Is Robert Whitaker an easier fight though? You mentioned Robert Whitaker. That's why I
No,
didn't
I
think Robert
don't.
Whitaker.
I don't know that it's an
I think this is
easier
a better
fight, but
I
it's
think this is
a
sorry.
legacy fight. You know, it's just like a fun. The wins and losses don't matter against Robert Whitaker. It's just about doing it for funsies.
If Usman loses, does he fight again?
I'll say yes, but I'm not confident in that.
Okay, adds to the story.
All right. Got a super chat here from Joe.
Gary is good, but he doesn't like getting hit. MVP and CP showed this, and the broadcast didn't say it. Does a power puncher like Buckley run through him?
So I don't know that he doesn't. Well, no one likes getting hit in general, but to the point you're making, I don't know that this is all the way true. He doesn't have a great chin. I don't think he has a bad chin, right? Like I don't think that he is, a wilting lily who will collapse under the first sign of pressure. But I think pretty clearly he does not have like a Max Holloway. Dude, I don't really give a shit what you hit me with. I'm still hanging in here. And that is also a problem because that is a huge advantage in fist fighting. And you got to, again, it's just another margin of error you have to play around if you're Ian Machado Garry. We have seen him get jawed. basically every time he's gotten like tagged, not great. But that being said, I really liked how he fought in the 5th round once he got back to his feet when he was under pressure and getting hurt. He was trying to run away for a while and then recognized this is actually bad. Like me moving away is when Carlos Prates is starting to get me. I just need to set down and fire back, get him off me, and sort of change the dynamic of the exchanges here. And so I don't think it will be prohibitive to him, but I do agree that he is not bulletproof when it comes to durability.
I would pick Ian Garry to beat Joaquin Buckley. And I think the Wonder Boy fight, is kind of a prime example. If you can move and keep Buckley at range, you can do very well against him. And Wonder Boy had a ton of success until he didn't. And I thought Wonder Boy was 2 minutes away from winning at 30-27 in that fight. So I think Garry could do similar, probably a little bit better because he can move around a bit better than 42-year-old Stephen Thompson can at this point, or 41-year-old Stephen Thompson could at that point last year. So I would pick Garry to win. But again, Buckley is coming on strong and the dude can whack. So if he chins Garry, could change things. But I would not say Buckley would run through him.
Yeah, I don't think he'd run through him. He could win. If he landed,
Yeah,
I
he could
think
win.
he can get
Sure.
it done. I like Mike. Like you, Mike. I would pick Garry to win, but it's tense because again, this is the issue, right? I don't think Buckley is necessarily the exact one. My major concern for Ian Machado Garry's career, he's going to have a lot of 25 minutes, man. And that is like, if you are not highly durable, like Merab is incredibly durable and has insane cardio. So like it works. All of the component parts work. If you're not, and like, again, he is not fragile. I'm not saying that, but if you're not like incredibly unkillable, 25 minutes is a really long time against some of these dudes who just take one. It can be done. You're walking a tightrope every time you fight, though.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got here? I don't think we talked about this yet.
Question for the boys. What the hell was up with Dan Mergliotta tonight? Was the dude drunk? Jeez, dude. Like, I feel like on all these post-fight shows, we're talking about refereeing and judges, mostly because the referees don't call anything. And I think some of that was true again tonight, but I think most of us in the community have just come to accept that is what this sport is going to be now. The referees are not going to step in and make a call. But Jesus Christ, man. Dan Mergliotta, you fall for the clapper once. Okay. But to have it happen again? Like, what is going on here? Matt Schnell was getting ready to like choke out Jimmy Flick. Like, it was looking real good. And then taps him on the back. Like, okay, round's over. And then you see him looking over again. Twice? Holy shit, dude. What the hell was that?
I will give one caveat here, and because I was firmly on board, the one slight caveat I will say is it's possible that something else was amiss because in the main event, and the commentary team even noted it, were like, that round ended early. There was still time on the clock so there's maybe something was afoot and Dan twice was cooked, but like the timekeeper or something, wires were getting crossed down there. It was all just super weird and it just can't be allowed to happen. Like you can't. I think the most likely explanation is that was a different thing and that twice Dan just heard the clapper and was like, oh, the bell is over. But that seems so impossible to believe because it's not like this is Dan's first time. Like Dan's reffed a lot of fights. I can't possibly imagine that it's so hard to believe that he just had a stroke and forgot what the clapper sounds like, right? So something is rotten in Denmark. Multiple. Like something is rotten in Denmark. Strokes. I don't know what is happening here. It was super weird, but it can't be allowed to stand. And this is the frustrating thing that it's, a bigger issue. I don't know who's at fault. There's no accountability. And that's like, there's no accountability for referees. And so like, if ultimately Dan is at fault, which feels like the most likely outcome, even if it seems insane, like you can't roll out a dude who butchers it that bad twice. Like that's your job. Your
And
job
then let him do
beyond
the main event.
anything. Yeah, your job beyond every other thing as the referee is literally to start and stop the action and keep time moving appropriately. And then it is to protect the fighters. Like that is almost the order of operations, your job to start things, to end things all on time. If you're not even doing that part, you just can't be employed. And so whether, if it's not Dan's fault, we need to know that something needs to be done. I don't know if anybody asked Dana at the post-fight presser. I would hope that they would have. Truly baffling, whatever the hell was going on tonight.
All
It was
right.
wild. And
Super
Dan's a good dude too. So I don't want to be a jerk, but yeah, tough night at the office.
Sorry. Got a super chat here. This is confirmation what you thought about round 4, Jed. I guess.
So I was like super certain. The issue that because I always want to be a little cagey. I was live blogging, but I was watching it and I just saw the left hand and I saw Ian Machado Garry's knees like full drop. And I was like, oh, he got tagged, and nobody said anything. And then he didn't throw a punch for the rest of the round. I was like, he definitely got tagged. Good.
Yeah.
Glad to know that I'm not crazy.
That's all. Super chat from Derek the Dad.
It's probably James Krause's fault.
Nicely
I
done,
wonder if he
Derek.
was there tonight.
Maybe that was who was in the crowd shooting Anthony Smith the bird.
I had this fight going to 1.5.
That would have been a tough bet for old James.
Super chat from Steven Dawson.
I was listening in my car to the fights on my way home. I heard an inadvertent horn during the Garry fight. That's why that round ended early. Yeah.
That could totally be the case. I didn't hear it, so I don't know.
And one last super chat. Oh, no, more super chats coming
I'll
in.
say we've got a couple popped in.
Yeah.
Luis, why do you believe that Ian will still not admit he was in a closely contested fight? Is this him playing into the heel persona? Did he not say that? I mean, I didn't watch the presser or anything, but
Well,
He didn't really in his
post
fight. He was like, I was fine. I was never hurt. But that's pretty traditional fighter speak of like sort of downplaying any negative thing that happens to you. He gave Prates a lot of props. It wasn't like my favorite post-fight, but he was far from the worst. There were a couple pretty bad post-fight efforts tonight.
Randy Brown's
was awful. I also
I blame Felder on that one. That's all.
I don't, because this is not a pop quiz. You know they are going to ask you, have a name. It's just like literally the most basic homework assignment is to have a name to say or an answer when they ask you for a name, because you know they're going to. I actually thought Ming Yang Zhang's was the worst tonight because he just didn't understand.
I loved it.
He just didn't understand the assignment.
No, he got it.
He didn't, because he's not going to actually go over as a heel. And so like you just kind of upset the Kansas City crowd for like a minute and then go away. I think the like, you don't know now you know thing, that's totally fine. But basically in his position, you just have to be the gracious victor. And you know that and be like, hey, really glad, great win for me. Anthony's a legend. Put him in the Hall of Fame. Glad I could share the octagon with him. I hope everything's great for him. Dana, look, this is how you get over not what's true or honest. This is what you do when it's your job. Dana, give me any, I've got a ranking now. I'm ready to go. Anthony, it's your time to shine. And you just gotta get in quick, put Anthony Smith over, say one message, and then dip out, because nobody's there to see you. You have to understand that. So his was the worst one to me of the night. But Randy Brown's was pretty bad.
I disagree about Zhang. He has 1 billion fans on the other side of the world. There's 1 billion fans. He wasn't talking to those 15,000 people in that arena. He was talking to
Yes, he was. He specifically said, Kansas City, how do you feel now? He was directly speaking
well,
to
he wasn't
those
talking
fans in the building. The 2 times he spoke English, the first time was Kansas City. That is a direct speech to them.
He wasn't there. He wasn't there to please them. Rather, he was not there to please them.
No, he's not. But
So wait, but your answer was
Literal.
Zhang Shen gave the most boring speech ever that we would not be talking about ever. It was like, great fight, legend, Hall of Famer.
we're not going to be talking about this at all either. Like, you just got to go over with class. Like, hey, man, I won, but it's not my night.
This is ultimate fighting. There's no class here. Come on.
No one's talking about him at all anyways. We're talking about Anthony
He got
Smith.
50K. UFC gave him 50K. Y'all was like, yo, I can't believe they gave him money. UFC, they liked it. I'm telling you, they liked it.
You think that's why they gave him 50K?
Why they give him 50K?
Because they didn't want it. Because they didn't want to give Randy Brown 100,000.
Insane. They've
Well,
been
they couldn't have gave it to
bonuses all year.
the strawweight lady who had an awesome submission. There were other submissions.
They've
That was a
been
great submission.
butchering their
Colombo.
bonuses all year.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah,
My boy Dom.
I get both sides. I get both sides. I get both sides. The duelist, everybody wanted his head the way he celebrated beating Shogun.
That's
You know
the
what I mean?
thing.
But he
half
danced. He
measured-
danced. That guy danced for Shogun when he
But
when
that's the
Shogun
thing,
died.
Casey.
That's what I didn't like
If
about it.
you're
Zhang
if
was
you're
like,
gonna
like,
be
he
a
was trying to
bear,
calm
be a
Smith down.
grizzly. No, that was cool. The like
he was a
holding
mountain tiger.
Anthony Smith from jumping
He's like, chill,
cage.
man.
That
He's
was like cool. But like if you're trying to get over with your heel energy, dive in, man. Go. Like dance. Be like, hey, get out of here, old man.
The guy knows.
Do that. Just be like that old. I put that old man down.
He
That
knows
would be
15,
better.
He knew 15 words in English. He said them all. It was great. A+ work. A+ work from Mountain Tiger. We'll just have to agree to disagree on that one.
Well, I mean, he's on your fantasy team and he got you a billion points.
Yeah.
So.
I forgot that. I
Let's
forgot
go,
that.
baby. Let's go. Let's go.
In case he salted away the win this week.
Oh, I just love the
You
fact that
drafted
I tried to get out of that fantasy league the morning of and just like, come on, man, stay in. I'm like, all right. And now I'm all like,
You're
let's
so
go.
excited. You're gonna host the next show, dude. Like you're so excited about it. You're so in.
Thank you, Luis. Super chat. We talk about the boxing today.
We're good.
Double super tonight. Thanks for the late coverage, guys. How good was Ben Eubank? Feels like boxing is having a major resurgence. So I actually caught the fight after it was over because I was doing like social stuff and I had the UFC and we were doing this show down the stretch and AK was telling me like this fight rules. And then I saw Brian Campbell saying that it was theater and it was like the best fight ever. So I did go back and rewatch it. It's fucking great. If you haven't seen it, it's
Really?
a
That's
terrific
good.
fight.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I saw nothing but praise for all of it on social. So I'll go check it tomorrow. I was watching KSW and then wrapping up a project that is dropping on Monday for us now.
Yes.
Which is annoying because I did a lot of work today, so it would drop tomorrow. And then we've moved it to Monday. So it's going to be fun. Tune in and enjoy that. And I'll check out the Ben fight tomorrow.
Yeah, dude, it rocks. It's Oscar Willis said it best because that was like my first thought, maybe like 5 rounds into it. Those two dudes are made for each other. Like it's just one of those things. They're simpatico, man.
I mean,
So
literally, they're generationally bred to fight each
Yeah.
other.
From the walkouts, Eubank walking out with his dad, like it was just everything was amazing.
That's awesome. Good
Yeah,
for
it was
boxing.
great.
Good for boxing.
Not
good for fight
not
fans.
all cool, but still good to be the second coolest thing that happened today.
All righty.
John?
Let's get out of here. It's 2.
Yeah, let's get out. I got one question. Yeah, we'll get out. We're good. We're good. Let me find the music.
You can bring those questions to between the links
Ooh,
this
yeah.
week or whatever other shows we're doing. I don't know. You can tweet me those questions for the mailbag column that I'll be writing, I think, Monday.
Yes. If you have matchmaking questions, don't send them here because I ain't gonna see them. So submit your matchmaking suggestions how you normally submit them. AK and I will matchmake tomorrow, as we typically do. Thank you,
We are all
Pseudo,
one.
for life. And then guess what? We prepare for.
Did we
We all
lose?
froze.
Oh,
We're back.
we're back. We back.
Okay.
We're so back.
Yeah.
We're so back. I
So-
mentioned Des Moines, Iowa,
Des Moines,
and yeah, I mentioned Des Moines, and it all just falls apart. A great fight though, Corey Sandhagen versus Davis Figueiredo. Very, very excited for that. The
Terrific
return
fight.
of Jeremy Stevens. Pretty good card, and we'll talk about it throughout the week right here on MMAfight.com. I am Mike Beck. Thank you all for a wonderful day of combat action. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Don Davis, do the thing or the shirt burns.
Do it, or it will be the worst town hall of your life if you come back.
That's a promise.